right? Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect, those that are fighting to endure to the end, and that are calling on the true names of the Father and the only begotten Son, which are Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God, and through His only begotten Son, whose name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and that is who also the world ignorantly calls Jesus, who, by the way, is a so-called black man, all right, who only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, the name of the lesson of the day is the people are going to lose their mind, okay? The people, who are we talking about? The Egyptians, the modern day Egyptians, these Babylonians, these Americans, all right? They're going to begin to lose their mind, all right? Because why? It's set to start next weekend, November the 1st, that SNAP, along with other government programs, are going to be finished, all right? At least for the time being, because of this government shutdown, all right? So the people are going to start to lose their minds, all right? Particularly those that have leaned on Egypt, America, for all their wants and needs, okay? Instead of what? Returning to the Father, all right? Because what's getting ready to come down the pipe is a time like never been before, all right? And we know it as Jacob's trouble, all right? We're in the beginning stages, okay? So this government, this tyrannical government is getting ready to cut off your what? Your resources, all right? Your SNAP, your benefits, okay? And then we're going to see what's going to happen, all right? Lord willing, I'm about to stop. We're going to see what's going to happen. It's going to get very lively out here on the streets, okay? Because people aren't going to have any idea what's going on, what's the solution, how long is it going to take for them to get their SNAP benefits, their EBT, their WIC, and when they come to find out they're not going to get it anytime soon, they're going to do and resort to what you've seen on the internet, all right? I'm going to get my cousin, we're going to run up into Walmart, and I'm going to take my shit out, you see? And I dare one of y'all associates to stop us, all right? See, this is the chaos that's getting ready to ensue, all right? And we're telling you this through the spirit that it's going to get real lively out here, all right? Pandemonia is going to ensue, all right? Because these people, they don't know how to survive without taking handouts, all right? And it's going to trickle down to even those that don't receive handouts. Because why? They're going to have to go look for resources elsewhere, okay? And this is the perfect time to what? Promote that is what? Holiday seasons, okay? While people are out shopping, buying Christmas gifts, buying turkeys, buying Thanksgiving dinners, these people that don't have anything, they know where to go at, okay? They know where to look for, all right? And if you're broadcasting your business, you can almost bet you're gonna get a visit page, all right? They're gonna know where you stay at because why? Your houses are decorated in Christmas ornaments, okay? Your boxes on the side of the curbs is telling them that you had a good Christmas, okay? And guess what? They're gonna need some type of food. They're gonna need some type of money. They're gonna come take the stuff that you have and they're gonna use it for their own purposes, okay? So it's about to get crazy. People are about to lose their minds out here, all right? And the Lord's told you this, all right? He told you to repent, all right? The Lord has set up his servants, the prophets, to teach and to prophesy this and tell you so that you can be prepared for the sword when they get ready to come, when they get ready to come upon the whole earth, all right? And we know those swords ultimately are going to be the missiles, all right? But do the people listen? No. They don't want to listen until it's too late, all right? And we're telling you that time is approaching where it's going to be too late. All right? You still want to sit here, celebrate these holidays. Guess what? You're going to be the prime targets that day after. All right? Because they can't have a Thanksgiving. They see you in the grocery store shopping and buying Thanksgiving food. They must know that you got food elsewhere. So don't be surprised if you get someone trailing or following you home to take whatever it is that you got. All right? Because the people are about to lose their minds. Okay? And that's right where the system wants it. The system wants it in a chaotic state so that they can be justified and usher in and bringing in this microchip, this mark of the beast system. All right? But see, those of us that has been found loyal and staying true to this word, we're going to have a hedge or a protection around us. All right? Let's open up with that and let's read 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. All right? Because the people, they finna lose it. All right? They finna lose it. Here it is. They've been relying on that government to support them, and they never thought in their wildest dreams that they would have to come off that system this close to their holidays. All right? A perfect timing, man. And it's in the wintertime too, so people are going to be desperate. Okay? So this is 2 Timothy 1 in verse 7. It reads, "For the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, have not given us the spirit of fear." See? That's what these 2/3 of our people and these other heathens are going to be faced with. That spirit of fear. All right? And we know there'll be spirits created for vengeance. All right? So it's going to be an all-out brawl amongst the Egyptians. Egyptians versus Egyptians, which is another way of saying Americans versus Americans. All right? Because once this society collapses, that's it. All right? You got to understand that the dollar is pegged to this economy. All right? And they're systematically taking this economy apart so that they can what? Usher in a new, more proficient system. All digital. Okay? Here it is. They just implemented and allowed Social Security to go digital for the first time this summer. All right? So they're setting up the infrastructure to go completely digital. And we know it's all going to eventually be ran through that RFID microchip or NFC. They both one and the same, all right? Radio frequency identification and near field communication, all right? It's all going to be on the size of that grain of rice chip, microchip, all right? And we, through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, been warning you of this time, all right? And it's getting ready to come. Right now, it's quiet before the storm. But next week, this time, it could be completely different, all right? It could be completely different when these people wake up and see that their EBT, their SNAP, their WIC, and whatever else system or supplements that they have didn't go through. It's going to be all hell to pay, all right? They're going to tear up neighborhoods. They're going to tear up grocery stores, all right? And it's by no sheer coincidence that's why Trump is putting these National Guard troops in every city in place where so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are at, primarily in these democratic states. But eventually, he's going to have to put them throughout the whole land. Why? Because people are going to want to go and venture out elsewhere to find what? Food, clothes, raiment, and whatever else they need to get satisfied. All right? And that's going to what? Bring on civil unrest. So this is right where the devil wants this thing going at. All right? The devil, so-called white man, word devil just goes into deceiver, false accuser. That's right where he wants things going. All right? He wants things going left. All right? Out there in the left outfield. So that what? People would clamor and beg for a solution. All right? So it's coming, all right? And the people are going to lose their minds, all right? But it says what? 2 Timothy 1 and 7. "For the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, have not given us the spirit of fear. See, we know through the scriptures that this is necessary, all right? And through the scriptures, we get comfort through the Holy Spirit, all right? So that our spirit would be at ease without worrying about everything else that all these other people are going to be worrying about. Where they're going to get their food from, where they're going to get their bills paid at, all right? See, we're not worrying about any of that. Matter of fact, we can't wait for it to happen, to remove ourselves from off this grid and to completely and solely rely on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for all our wants and needs. But see, the other 2/3 of our people and the other heathens, they don't want that to happen, all right? Because why? They do not believe in this truth, all right? But see, the Lord has a funny way, or should I say a serious way, of shaking things up, man, okay? It started with the Northern Kingdom tribe, and now it's trickling down to the Southern Kingdom tribe. But all 12 tribes are going to be affected by it, okay? That's what we're seeing, all right? They're going to be snatching up individuals too, okay? They're going to be setting up shop in your neighborhoods. As Yahweh Shai said, when thou shalt see the abomination of desolation spoken of in Daniel, then let them who read this flee into the mountains. Now that was prophesied about 70 AD, but guess what? It's coming back today, all right? It's coming back today. Because why? This place is Rome all over again. Rome 2.0, Rome revised, all right? So Trump is getting ready to set up his troops, his garrisons in all these cities, man. Because why? He knows what's getting ready to come, all right? Civil unrest, civil war, race war, riots, all type of things, okay? And he wants to have troops strategically placed throughout these major cities, all right? So when you try to come into the store, like you said you was gonna do on TikTok, which they watching you on TikTok, they got your information, they're gonna have reasonable cause to take you down, all right? And they starting to use live rounds, live ammo now, all right? They getting the people ready for live ammo, live rounds, which is what that executive DOD 5240-1 was, all right? And they can engage the people as citizens with live ammo, okay? And if you don't know what live ammo is, look it up, okay? Because they ain't gonna be shooting no rubber bullets. They gonna be shooting the real thing, man, all right? So it's gonna get real lively out here, okay? And we've been waiting for this, okay? Some longer than others, but still, we all been waiting for this. This is the moment of truth, all right? This is the moment where the Lord is gonna show who he's dealing with and who he isn't, okay? Then shall be known who are my own, okay? It's gonna be known then, all right? Because they're gonna be kicking people out of their houses, taking your land, seizing your cars, whatever else they want, okay? Because under eminent domain, they can take whatever they want from you as long as they compensate you with something in return, all right? And if it's money and we got the digital system up ran by the RFID microchip, what are you gonna do? More than likely, you're gonna take that RFID microchip so you can have money to continue to pay for things, all right? So the Lord have not given us the spirit of fear, all right? But it says of power and of love and of a sound mind, see? And when you look up that word sound mind, it goes into self-control, able to curb, see? We're gonna be able to keep it intact. When everybody else is losing it, the Lord has given us the spirit of what? Power, of love, and of a sound mind, able to keep it intact when everybody else is flailing and flip-flopping and looking, what are we gonna do? See? We're gonna know what to do. Why? Because we've been practicing. It's gonna kick in just like muscle memory did, all right? Just like when you have done something tedious over and over, it becomes second nature to you, all right? It's called muscle memory, when you remember things just by the sheer stance of you doing that thing repeatedly, all right? We continue to tell you to call on the names repeatedly. It has to become muscle memory where you just know all of a sudden, call on the Lord. All right? This is what we're in training for. This is why we're building up our faith. This is why we're doing the work. So when we call on the names, he will show up and answer us. Okay? So it says, for the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, have not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And you can't put a price on that, all right? Which is why the men of the Lord aren't to be bought, all right? The only thing we're buying is this truth, and we're selling it not. See? Others, you can buy them off, man, all right? Just give them clout, give them a name, you know, and they'll forsake calling on the names. They'll start using Jesus and Christ and any other name, the black Jesus, the black Messiah, rather than using Yahweh Shai, the Son, the only begotten Son, and Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. All right? They can be bought and paid off. But the men of the Lord, the true men of the Lord, they can't be bought and paid off. All right? We don't want your bribery. Okay? So let's go to the book of John and read chapter 4, because when all else fails, you have to know you have what? A mediator, all right? An advocator that's fighting on your behalf. This is the book of John, chapter 4, and we're going to start at verse 14, get straight to the point. This is John chapter 4 and 14, red letters, Yahweh Shai speaking. It reads, "For whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again." Now he's having a conversation with the Samaritan woman, all right, who is a what? Gentile, a natural born Gentile. And he's telling her to fetch him a pail of water, and she's basically going into a conversation with him, and he's telling her that this well that she was fetching the water out of, that water will run dry and you'll be thirsty again. But this well, this water, you will never thirst, okay? So it says, St. John 4 and 14, "For whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life." See? So this is what we have. We have the everlasting life. We have the truth. We have the knowledge. We have the understanding, okay? We have Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. So we're going to be good, all right? When this society implodes and collapses on itself, the men of the Lord are going to be good. They have that everlasting water, that sound mind, that self-control, okay? To what? Not go down and bend the knee to Baal and take his charagma, his chip, all right, his device, okay? We've been given that sound mind, that eternal water, all right? And if we endure to the end, we're going to drink on it all the way into the kingdom, okay? So let's read that again. St. John 4 and 14. "But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst." See? So when your wick run out, when your snap run out, when your EBT run out, you're going to thirst. You're going to be hungry. All right? And the devil knows that, which is why he's getting ready to implement what he's getting ready to put into place. A famine, a lack of, or not being able to have those resources, even though the resources are available, you can't get them. Because why? You don't have the means of getting them. Whether it's the money, whether it's the location, whether it's whatever, all right? You don't have the resource to get that necessary food, whatever you need. So it's going to be a famine. He is manufacturing that famine, okay? Because you go into these stores, and contrary to what these TikTokers have told you, you go into those stores and try to run out with their food, their merchandise, and you try to bring bodily harm to them and don't see what happened to you, all right? You're going to get put on your ass, or if you try to resist, you could be potentially put out of this earth. All right, and you could be right back up to the upper room. See, getting the first up close personal relationship with Yahweh while Yahweh shot. And a lot of people finna get ready to get that upper room developed or that upper room elevator. All right. So it says, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. See? This is what we count on, man. We count on miracles. All right? I know it's hard for some to believe, but that's what we're relying on. Miracles. Okay? The mere fact that we see things coming to pass shows us that miracles are what? Believable. Okay? You gotta have faith though. You gotta have faith, and not just with your lips, but with your action. All right? Your action has to match what your mouth says. Otherwise, it's just lip service. So these people, they finna really start to lose their minds out here because why? They have no faith. See, all this time, they've been relying on the government to give them handouts. Okay? And now that the government is starting to take that nipple away, that tit away, they don't know how to act. All right? They're going on social media and expressing their discomfort in the government, in the system, but to no prevail. As they say, the show must go on. Okay? So what's going to be their next course of actions? Then take it and go live. All right? Now they're going to start ramshacking, grocery stores, retail stores, and whatever else. Okay? And then that's when Trump is going to be justified in enacting that Insurrection Act of 1807, which eventually is going to spread to what? Martial law. All right? And then from that point moving forward, we here. Okay? The hour of temptation, when they make the microchip mandatory, and then what comes after that? Those thermonuclear missiles. Okay? And then the elect is going to be delivered. And then the rest here in America is just going to have to be what? Burned to a crisp. Okay? So let's go to I tell you what, let's go to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 3. Let's go to Revelation 3, and let's just read straight to the point, verse 10. Okay, because we praying that the Lord continue to give us that everlasting water that endures. Okay? This is Revelation 3. In verse 10, it reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. See, this is how we're going to be taken care of, okay? Because the Lord has given us a sound mind to keep his word, his patience. Like I said, you go into that word sound mind, it goes into self-control. Because not too many can keep this keep this word and patience. And if you don't have a sound mind, you can't keep it at all. You might be able to endure for a while, but eventually you'll fall out. Because why? The Lord didn't give you that sound mind. See? That's something that the Lord has to give you, is a sound mind, self-control. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. It says what? Which shall come upon all the world. See? This is going to be a global thing. Okay? It's not going to be just here in America. It's going to be out the whole earth. Okay? It says, to try them that dwell upon the earth. See? This is coming for a trial. All right? And if the Lord isn't dealing with you, you're going to what? You're going to flunk it. Okay? You're going to have that spirit of fear. All right? You're going to break. You're going to bend. You're going to fold. All right? Because why? You don't have that sound mind. All right? That everlasting water. Okay? So let's go to the book of Second Ezra, and let's read chapter 9, and let's start at verse 7. This is Second Ezra 9 and 7. It reads, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. See? So it's coming down to your works and your faith and your belief. All right? If you don't have it, it's going to show in that day. Okay? The Lord's going to put everyone to the test. It says, verse 8, shall be preserved from the said pearls, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. See? So if you make it on the first go around, guess what? You're gonna see the promised land. You're gonna be part of the return to our holy land, all right? But if you don't have the faith along with the works, you ain't gonna make it on the first go around. You're gonna have to come back in the kingdom through the elect. Okay? It says, For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. What is it talking about? Ezra is talking about the elect. All right? Those are the individuals' names that are written in the book of life that shall overcome this beast system, that shall triumph over that hour of temptation, that shall not lose their minds, that shall have a sound mind, that's self-control. Okay? It says, verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case. See? Which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. So see, this is why the Lord is about to allow things to happen the way it's about to happen. Because you what? You despise his ways. It says what? 2 Ezra 9:9, then shall they be in pitiful case, which have abused my ways. What is the ways? His commandments. Okay? That if you keep his word and patience, he will keep you through that hour of temptation. But because you have despised and abused it, this liberty, this mercy, this grace, guess what? You're going to have torments. You're going to lose your mind. You're going to have that spirit of fear. You're going to make irrational decisions. You're going to go down and get microchipped. You're going to be preserved for what? Those said pearls. Okay? Verse 10. For such as in their life have received benefits. See? This is why the people finna be destroyed, man. They receive those benefits, those handouts, those thinking that they are entitled. Those, I want my snap. That kind of remind me of that commercial, W.G. Wentworth. It's my money and I want it now. See? They think just because they got dark skin complexion and that, you know, our ancestors been through slavery, that this damn devil owes them something. It's my money. It's my snap. These are my benefits. Give them to me. See? But they gonna come and find out the hard way. That ain't how it work, man. Okay? That's not how it work. So it says, verse 10, 2 Ezra 9:10. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Right. You got Big Bertha, 250 pounds. I ain't saying it's solid, but it's 250 pounds, saying if I don't get my snap, Jesus, Lamar, Christ is going to find out about it. See, they making light of it. They're making fun of it, all right? You have to call on that fake name, that fake God, all right? And we're going to see what happens, all right? We're going to see what should happen when you call on Jesus Christ, all right? When your snap don't come in like it's supposed to next month. When your EBT don't show up on your card like it's supposed to next month. When your WIC don't come in like it's supposed to next month. We're going to see what's going to happen, all right? It says verse 11, and they that have loathed my law, see, you didn't want to repent. You didn't want to return. You didn't want to seek the Lord while he may be found through his servants, the prophets. We told you, all right, numerous times, all right, all the way up until the time when we can't tell you no more to turn back from your wicked ways. Repent. Stop worshiping these idols. Call on the true names of the Father and the only begotten Son, all right? Stop worshiping these false holidays, okay? See, the Lord's gonna make it be known who is his, All right? And if you ain't right with the Lord, guess what? You out of here. All right? You are out of here. So it says, verse 11, 2nd Ezra 9 and 11. And they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, see, this is why we still under grace and mercy. All right? But the Lord is getting ready to what? Reel that in. And then what? Judgment is going to go out. Okay? It says, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. See? So you don't want to get right with the Lord while he's giving you time. All right? Because it says in 2 Peter 3 that the Lord is what? Long suffering, that none shall perish, but that all shall come to repentance. But see, you don't want to get right on your own because the Lord hasn't called you to. So guess what? You don't want to get right on your own. The Lord is going to get you right, okay? He's going to get you right. Don't worry about it. If you're an Israelite, you're going to be right, all right? You may not be right on this side, but in the kingdom, you'll be right. You'll be delivered. You'll be saved in the kingdom, see? But on this side, you're going to have to find out about it the hard way as we're going to read it. Verse 12, it says, the same must know it after death by pain. See? So you're going to find out the hard way by death by pain. When that plague, those missiles come, and it melts your body, your flesh, or you may just get a quick evaporation when you turn into dust. But it's going to be painful. You're going to feel every last ounce of it. All right? It says, verse 13, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished. See? We're not worried about the ungodly, all right? We understand you're going to get your judgment, okay? We understand the heathen, along with the 2/3 of our people that rejected and loathed this law, they're going to get their judgment when the Lord shows up. And he's getting ready to show up in a major way. It says, verse 13, 2nd Ezra 9 and 13, and therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. See? We only concerned about the Israelites at the end of the day and our people, okay? Now, 2/3 of our people, unfortunately, won't get it on this side, all right? But in the kingdom, they will get it, okay? They'll understand that they went off, that they got destroyed on this side of the flood, which is not going to be with water, but with fire. They'll understand it all. And they'll have a shame on their face for a while, but then they'll get over it, okay? But here on this side, you heathens, and, you know, the 2/3 of our people, you're going to find out the hard way, all right? And we're not concerned about you, but we're concerned about who? The elect of Israel, the elect of the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. That's who we're concerned about. That's why we do these videos. That's why we put up these edifying lessons, okay? To keep the elect informed and to keep their spirits going, that they may endure unto the end, if it be the Lord's will, if we of that number, okay? So let's go to, we're going to jump to the book of, staying with the theme that the people should lose their mind. We're going to jump to the book of, let's go to 1 Thessalonians. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and we'll pick up at verse 6. This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6. It reads, therefore, let us not sleep. See? So we understand the severity of the times that we're in, all right? And if you sleep at the wheel, we don't have to say too much more, man. If you fall asleep at the wheel, we already know you're going to crash and burn, all right? It says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And that's what we're doing right now, all right? We're watching and we're being sober for what? The time that's about to come next week, all right? November the 1st. They about to start crashing out, man. All right, these people are about to start crashing out when they don't get their EBT, they SNAP and WIC, and it's going to have an impact on everyone else. Okay, everyone else around is going to have an impact because why? They're going to have to find food, raiment, and shelter. So don't be surprised they start popping up and setting up camp and tent in your damn front yard, man, in your neighborhood, wherever. Don't be surprised. So it says, verse 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. See, we're prepared, we're ready because why? We're watching, we're sober-minded. All right, we're being circumspect. We know what's getting ready to come, man. All right, imagine if we didn't know. Imagine if we just went about our life just thinking everything was normal, and then we pulled up to a Walmart or a Target or a Publix or what have you, and had to find the hard way that they was out of food, that they was out of water, that they was out of this, that they were out of that, that they ain't have no gas at the gas station. Man, we were losing, man. We wouldn't know what to do. All right, we would be at this devil's mercy. Okay, if we didn't know what to do, if we didn't have this truth, we would be at this devil's mercy. All right, like the 2/3 of our people finna be. They finna be at this devil's mercy soon. Verse 7, for they that sleep in the night and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Right. So they finna find out the hard way. When you drink and drive at night and you can't see and you don't know that pole is right there in front of you and your car wrapped around it, there's a strong chance you ain't walking out of there alive, man. Right? There's a strong chance you're not walking out of there alive. Right? And here in America, you ain't gonna walk out of that crash alive. All right? Once your car hit that pole, that's it. You out of here. All right? You out of here. Verse 8, but let us who are of the day, see? Why? Because we're watching. We're sober-minded. It says, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love. See? That's the gift that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah has given his elect. That love, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Okay? It says, but let us who are of the day be sober, put on the breastplate of faith and love. What else? And for an helmet, the hope of salvation. See? This is mad. This is what we doing is considered madness to others. That's how y'all doing? You mean to tell me y'all ain't prepping? Y'all ain't stocking up? Y'all ain't getting perishable canned goods? That's not our end all be all. Although we may have some of that on hand, we're not relying solely on that to deliver us. Okay? See? That's what separates us from the others, all right? They're relying on their preparation to deliver them from what's to come. When we're preparing for what's to come for our deliverance, okay? So these other 2/3 of our people and these other heathens, they don't have any idea what's about to come. They can stock up all the perishable canned goods, non-perishable canned goods they want, all right? But unless the Lord is dealing with them, it's all in vain, all right? We see these food banks, all right, they being overwhelmed, all right? Now that these federal workers are going furlough, and it's their first paycheck that they didn't get this week. So now you're seeing more of these federal workers showing up at food banks, all right? And here it is, Trump did some type of order or executive order where he denied 94 million pounds of food to be sent to these food banks, all right? So you know he's orchestrating this famine, all right? And he's being used to orchestrate this famine, okay? Because why? It's the bid of the elite that he's doing, right? He's set up to do the bid of the elite, the wicked elite, right? That's why it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So you see in the mourn the lamentation of the people, because why? The wicked are in rulership. Here it is, they already stripped you of your sovereignty, and now you having to rely on the system. They stripping you from that too. See? So it's a lose-lose situation outside of this truth, man. Outside of this truth, it's a lose-lose situation, however you want to look at it. Okay? You want to consider yourself a Moorish nationalist, and you want to try to claim your sovereignty in a land that you was brought to be a captive. Good luck. Okay? Good luck. All right? We're going to see how that's going to end. Okay? We should see how that's end. We should see how that should end, should I say. All right? So like I said, Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. We're just now seeing the fruits of the wicked be broadcast globally, all right? They've been able to keep it under wraps for the longest, but now the people are out protesting, all right? Rioting, soon to happen, soon to ensue. And what are they protesting about? No King's Day. How they're not being treated fairly. All of this, all of that, you know? And that's why we tell you so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, don't go out and join hand in hand with them. Let them burn on their own, man, all right? Let them burn on their own. Like I said, if the blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into a ditch. If you go out here blindly following these other so-called protests and activists, you gonna what? Crash and burn just like them and fall into that ditch, okay? Because they have no solution at the end of the day other than just going out and making their voice heard. That ain't nothing, all right? The Lord ain't dealing with that. The Lord ain't dealing with protests. All right, now, yeah, you can look at it that we're protesting, but we're coming out of the scriptures. We're protesting in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai for all the iniquity that this place has committed. And we're giving it its judgment. We're reading its judgment through the scriptures. All right? So guess what? We're rightfully right in what we're doing. Okay? But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And it's only going to be more mourning and more lamentation to come. Okay? To the fact that what? People just gonna start fighting. They're gonna be fighting their own selves, man. They're gonna be out here rioting, all right? They're gonna be knocking people out, okay? Which is why Trump is already putting into provisions those necessary precautions, okay? He's already putting into provisions those necessary precautions to get these individuals, as he say, that were born here, deported. Who is he talking about? The so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those are the ones that he wants to really get up out of here. He wants to get this land back to somewhat, in his eyes, civilized. All right, back when so-called white supremacy was the law of the land. Okay, back when Jake had to look down at another woman that was a so-called white woman when he crossed the street. He want that type of level of respect back in his country. And I'm not even sure if he was born here or not. All right, because I know that's not his real name, Donald J. Trump. So wherever he was born at, he's still doing the will or the bid of the wicked elite, right? This is where he wants things to go at, all right? And they picked the right man, all right? Because it looks like he's getting the job done. Despite all the hurdles and obstacles that these Supreme Court judges have put in front of him, it looks like he's going forward with it. And that could all be set up too, all right? To what? Allow him to be justified in enacting the insurrection act. Because that's the way he can get over these courts and judges, by enacting that insurrection law into a law. He don't have to worry about what the judges say, okay? So everything seems to be going as according to plan. Everything seems to be going as according to plan, okay? Because we know at the end of the day, the Lord is in control of all of this. Man's going is of the Lord. So we know the Lord is in control of all of this. All right? He controls the left and the right. See? So that's why it will behoove you to take heed of the word that he's given to set up through his service, the prophets. Those warnings that we're blowing. We're sounding the alarm in Zion right now to our people to what? Get right and repent. For you be numbered to the slaughter to what? Be destroyed. All right? That's what's coming. All right? Our people are being numbered to the slaughter. All right? As it says, when I called, you did not answer. So because you did not answer, you're going to be numbered to that slaughter. And it's going to be a great slaughter here in America, man. Here in the good old US of A, it's going to be a great slaughter. All right? A great sacrifice. So back to 1 Thessalonians 5 and chapter 10. Let's go back up to verse 9. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 9. It says, for the Most High have not appointed us to wrath. See? So if you are the elect, you're not going to be given over to that thermonuclear fire, which is the Lord's wrath. It says, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. See? That's what we're praying and hoping for. Okay? It says, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. See? So whether we be awake when he comes, or whether we be asleep. All right? Because when you get put down, when you pass over, you're just asleep. All right? And the Lord, when he comes, those that have been put to sleep for his name's sake, he's going to resurrect them to what? Everlasting life. They're going to be the first ones to meet him in the clouds. All right? I believe that's 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. All right? So it's a win-win situation. Every way around it. You can't find any way where you come out on the bottom if you put your trust in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Verse 11. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. And this is what we're doing. We're edifying. We're giving the elect, those that, if they be found worthy to endure, words of encouragement. Letting them know that this is almost over with. Don't let up now. We're too close to the end. That muscle memory has to kick in. That muscle memory has to kick in. When all hell breaks loose, and when people that you may be even close to or close with, your family members, when they start bugging out and losing their mind, don't let that affect you. You gotta what? Continue to rely and call on the names, man. Because the Lord ain't gonna be dealing with everybody, even if they are your relatives. Okay? The Lord ain't gonna be dealing with everybody. He's only dealing with that small remnant, the elect. All right? The rest of the people, they're gonna be bugged out and losing their minds, man. Don't be surprised if you start getting phone calls and text messages from people you ain't heard of, asking you about this and asking you about that. Did you hear about over here in such and such town, how they ain't let nobody come to none of their stores? Oh, really? Yeah. Of course we heard about that. We've known about this all along, and we try to tell you back when it was feasible for you to understand it. See? That's if they're lucky enough to come across you or to have your number. The Lord may have stripped that number from out of their phone. You see? So it's going to be a time like none other, Jacob's trouble. Verse 11. Wherefore, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 11. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. All right? Verse 12. It says, and we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you. See? And are over you in the Lord and admonish you. See? So we understand, all right? We have had men that's been laboring before us and that admonish us, that gives us sound doctrine. All right, and that correct our doctrine when we go off. All right, and we don't look at it as hate but love, man. All right, so we got to give honors what honors is due. Okay, as it says, double honors. Right, when you got men that's been laboring, doing this for 30, 35, 40 years, man. All right, so hey, that's why they worthy of double honors, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to and I myself can attest to that. Okay, you know, recently I've been learning from the apostles on down from the Church of Great Millstone. Okay, they go into prophecies like none other, man. All right, I found no one that could break down the prophecies as well as the apostles, the elders of the Church of Great Millstone. Okay, so they worthy of double honors. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, and let's just get straight to the point. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, and verse 33. It reads, "The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers." So it's going to get real lively out here, okay? You young ninjas, you YNs, they finna come looking for you. They got some drafting to do. They got some wars to fight, all right? And not just here on the streets of America, but overseas, all right? World War III, all right? The men here, they gonna be put to the test. If the Lord ain't dealing with you, you're gonna be put to the test, man. You're gonna have ICE, the National Guards. Hell, you may even have some of your own people. It's gonna be a dog-eat-dog world. Ain't gonna be no place for women, that don't have covering. See all that? You wanna show off your titties and your ass and your camel print? Ain't gonna be a time for you to have all that showing in that time, all right? If you ain't got that covering, if you ain't got that hedge that you can only get from a man of the Lord, you finished, man, all right? They gonna have their way with you. And it ain't gonna be all just sexual either, all right? They may wanna torment you before they get to that point, if they get to that point, all right? They may wanna do some jigsaw type of shit on you, all right? Have you in a torture truck, okay? So you thinking it's gonna be just going against your will sexually? No, it's gonna be more than that, man. And you ain't got no cover because you didn't want to cover up. You didn't want to be modest, all right? You didn't want to get right with the Lord. So guess what? The Lord got something designed just for you. Because it ain't gonna be just the YNs. It's gonna be you women too that ain't got no cover, all right? That the Lord ain't dealing with, okay? So the people finna really start to lose their minds out here, all right? Especially these women that's relied on this system for the SNAP, for the WIC, for the EBT. They finna lose it, and it's gonna be our own, all right? Now we know Esau relies heavily on the system as well, if not the same, more than the so-called black women, all right? See, we talking about our people, man, all right? We talking about our people right now, all right? These people finna lose out here, all right? These people finna lose their mind. And when they lose their mind, those spirits created for vengeance is gonna jump in it. And hey, it ain't gonna be a safe place to be if you ain't in that strong tower. All right? If you ain't in that strong tower. What's that, Isaiah 24 and 11? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 24 and verse 11. says there is a crying for wine in the streets. See? So this time next week, hey, we could very much, Lord willing, Alvarado see that crying and crying for wine in the street. They gonna want to know where they gonna get their food for the month of November. And Lord willing, Alvarado, they keep it shut off all the way up until Neverwary. Lord willing, they keep everything shut off all the way up until Neverwary, until they get ready to bring forth this Mark of the Beast system. Mark of the Beast, MOTB system. So it says, Isaiah 24:11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. When that happened, the people are about to lose their mind. The little sanity that they thought they had, they about to lose it, okay? The little bit of sanity that they thought they had, they are about to lose it. Because why? They did not seek the Lord while he may be found, all right? They did not forsake their evil ways, okay? So the Lord ain't gonna be dealing with them. And he's gonna give them over to that what? That reprobate mind, all right? They finna lose it. And all we need to do is step out the way. Let them fight it out amongst their own selves, okay? Let them fight out amongst their own selves, all right? We wanna be in that strong tower, all right? We wanna be in that shield and buckler, okay? Because if the Lord ain't dealing with you, it ain't gonna be anything pretty that you wanna be part of when he starts to take what? Vengeance and judgment, okay? So we gotta do what? What's going on with you?
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, bro.
All praise to the Most High.
Yes, sir.
I just want to stop by and just say, hey, man, thank you.
Yeah.
You feel me, brother? Thank you for this, man. And you be here every Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, so next Saturday, I'm going to be right here with you, bro. That's my word.
All right.
See, I got my gear ready.
Yeah.
I've been studying now.
What you know about?
Shit.
You know the names?
The names?
Yeah.
The
You know
Benjamin.
what I'm saying? You know the name of the Heavenly Father.
Yahweh.
Okay.
My dad, he is Israelite, so
What's his only begotten son name?
Yahweh Shah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what's about to go down there, right?
The destruction to Babylon.
Right.
Yeah.
You know they talking about next week. That's supposed to happen too, right?
What's happening next week?
They're supposed to start cutting off SNAP, EBT, and everything.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
So,
I heard that.
People are freaking out.
Mhm.
They can't get their SNAP, they can't get their EBT.
Shit, my mom is. Shit, that's her food stamp. They just cut her like $300.
Yeah, so that's going to be really put to the test. Like, is you going to rely on the system, or you going to rely on the Father and His only begotten Son?
Yes.
So the test getting ready to be put.
And that's why I need to be inside of this word and protect it.
Yeah.
So when that time do come,
right. That's what we building up our faith right now.
that's what I'm about to do now.
Yeah,
I'm glad I ran into you, brother.
Yeah.
It's a reason for everything. And then we in the historic Black Edenville.
Yeah.
So our people need to hear this word.
Yeah. It says man's going is of the Lord. So
that's right.
Yep. So everything is put in place
right.
just for that
I'm
reason.
taking this serious, man. Real
Yeah.
talk. I'm taking this serious
Yeah, you
next
got
time.
to.
You gonna see me.
You got to. Yeah.
So what time you gonna be here next Saturday?
I'll be here like around noon time.
Noon o'clock?
Yeah.
I will be here, brother. My name Trent. I don't got a Hebrew name yet,
Right.
but
Yeah.
Trent.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Tazamak.
Tazamak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the time to get
I'll
it,
be
man.
here 12 o'clock Saturday with my fridges on right here next to you, brother.
Yeah.
All right?
All right, then.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, as it says, Isaiah 24:11, there should be a crying in the streets. All right. For what? For wine. Wine goes into what? Knowledge, knowing to what's getting ready to happen. So let's read it again. Isaiah 24:11. I'll be here next week, Lord willing. Okay? Lord willing, I'll be here next week. This is Isaiah 24:11. Okay, we're going to get back to it. This is Isaiah 24:11. It says, there is a crying for wine, which is this understanding, this truth. See, they ain't going to know what's going to happen. All right? They're not going to know what's going to happen when everything else fails. All right? With the system that they relied on for who knows how long, since the silver, what's that thing called? I can't even think about it. But they're not going to know what happened. They're not going to know what's happening since the thing that our people have relied on, which is what? The civil rights movement. That's what it is. See? Ever since that civil rights movement, man, our people have been put to sleep, man. All right? Ever since that civil rights movement, our people have been put to sleep. Okay? It says, Isaiah 24:11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Right. So that happy-go-lucky, I got my SNAP, I got my EBT, I got my benefits. Once the Lord removes that from them, they're going to be what? Darkened. Because they ain't going to have no other solution, no other answer. All right, while the answer was out here in front of them, they drove by, they walked by, they turned their heads up. And now, when the prophets are removed from off the streets, they're going to be lost out there, not having an answer or solution for anything. Let's read that again. Isaiah 24:11. There is a crying. Let's read that slow. There is a crying for wine. What else? In the streets, all joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. It ain't gonna be an excited day in that time. It's gonna be, how am I gonna get my next meal? Where am I gonna rest my head at? See, it's gonna be a different story in that time. But this right here gives us comfort. Let's read this in Isaiah 65. Let's read this right here in Isaiah 65. All right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, and verse. Let's start at verse 12. This is Isaiah 65 and 12. It reads, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Why? Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. See? That's why you're going to be crying for answers and solutions in that day, but it's going to be darkened to you. You're not going to be able to find these servants. You're not going to be able to find the prophets, okay? Because why? You didn't answer. You didn't seek the Lord. You didn't pick up the call when he called. So therefore, this next verse isn't going to pertain to you that we're going to read, but it's going to pertain to you in the second part of that. So it says Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Almighty, behold, my servant shall eat. See? These are the individuals, these are the ones that sought the Lord. These are the individuals, these are the ones that did the work and had faith. They're going to eat. They're going to have that eternal water, that everlasting life, that they're going to be all right and taken care of. It says, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. See, that's the second part. The servants, the elect, are going to eat, but the non-elect, the 2/3 of our people, along with the other heathen nations, they're going to be hungry. That famine is going to affect them, but not the men of the Lord. See, the men of the Lord, they're going to be taken care of. They're going to be all right. All right, and that's the faith that we got to have. That's the miracle that the Lord's going to perform. It says, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. See? So the men of the Lord, they're going to be taken care of. But those that are not the elect, that's how it's going to be known who are not the elect. The Lord ain't going to take care of them. The Lord ain't going to deal with them. The Lord is going to number them to the slaughter, along with the other 2/3 of along with the other heathen nations. 2/3 of our people are going to be numbered for the slaughter. That great sacrifice in Basra, all right, which is what? The United States of America. Because why? You didn't seek the kingdom, you didn't seek the Lord first. Let's get that, then we get ready to wrap it up. Matthew 6. In verse 33, this is Matthew 6 and 33. It reads, "But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." See, you got to seek the Lord first, man. Right? You can't go off and try to do your own thing. You got to seek the Lord first. All right? And then all these things shall be added unto you. You're gonna get food. You're gonna get raiment. You're gonna get shelter. You're gonna be taken care of. All right? But if you just worried about, doing you, as they say, I'm gonna do me. And the time that he's given us this liberty, this mercy, this grace, then don't expect for him to do you when everything else is falling all around you. You got to put him first and seek him before everything. All right? That's the number one thing, is to seek the Lord first. All right? Now you got the young brother, he drove by here, and he got out and he was inquired about what's this, when he knew the names. See? So that was very impressive. All right, he knew the names. Now he's ready for the next phase, which is the calling, as it says, "For many are called, but few are chosen." Now he got to come learn about the names and do the work. Come out here and prophesy. And if he be found worthy to endure to the end, guess what? He's of the elect. All right? He's going to be delivered. That's a beautiful thing to see how people waking up, man. And not just to wake up, but to stay awake. All right? Because why? We at the end of this thing. All right? We are at the end of this thing, man. At the end of this man's kingdom. Okay? So that's pretty much going to be it in this lesson, that the people are about to lose their mind, because they're about to. All right? They're about to lose their mind. All right? And for good reason. Okay? For good reason. All right? Because the Lord ain't dealing with them. All right? So with that being said, we're going to turn to face the east. And we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. All right? Shalom. Until the next time, if you read the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.